All right, so we will start. We are on page 12, and we will start on the line that begins keli. That's 6 lines from the beginning of that paragraph. So we are talking about the relationship of the koiches with the evodim. And the point that is being made is that this is not as a relationship between two unrelated entities, where one simply overpowers the other. Rather, it's called hislapshus, that it is imbued. One is imbued in the other. And this we're going to start in the middle of that line. Aval behislapshus hanefesh beguf. However, but in the phenomenon of the nefesh being mislabish in the guf, and as we pointed out several times, that this is really a phenomenal thing, because nefesh and guf are from two different elements completely, two different worlds, ruchnis and gashmis. Not only ruchnis and gashmis per se, but the interest of the ruchni, of the nefesh, and the guf is totally different. The guf is all worldly, and the nefesh is godly. And yet, in this phenomenon of the nefesh being mislabish in the guf, hoivorim, so there the ivorim harei heim b'bchinas keli. The ivorim function, and they assume the position of being a keli for the koiches hanefesh. A keli means v'hakoiches misgalim bohem, that the koiches have full revelation. They reveal naturally in this keli. As we explained yesterday, the word misgalim, they're not forcing their message. They automatically stand there in a full regality, full revelation, because they provided this service of the keli. V'alkein, and as a result, hey meishlim b'sheiltim aleim lahanhigo. They rule over the keli, over the evonim. In what sense do they rule? It's not a rulership by fiat. Lahanhigom, they provide guidance for the evonim. Meaning to say, what should the Eber do? The Eber will do exclusively that which the koyach directs it to do. It's completely subservient to the will of the koyach, because it's a keli. A keli means that, as we explained yesterday also, I think, that the keli is enhanced by the oil that's mislabish in it. It finds its full significance. It's true that the oil hanefesh, that the koyach is mislabish in the Eber, and it leads the Eber, but the Eber itself reaches a completely different pinnacle in terms of its value, its presence. This is what the Eber is about, to house the koiches. Being that in Islam, we always point out the meaning of the use of the word bibchinas. Bibchinas means inherently they're in that state, not it's being superimposed upon them. Inherently they're in that state. They accept the koiches from that vantage point. V'hakoiches misgalim bahem, and thus the koiches misgalim are in essentially in also inherently stand in a gilui format. I'll give you an illustration of what misgalim means. Excuse me. Two people meet. Remember?
Where we are. I asked him where we are. I wasn't sure. I'm not alert to this. I have trouble finding it.
It's in that paragraph. There are two lines at the beginning of the word keli. We are on the second one.
Thank you.
Two people meet. Even if they're not strangers, they are acquainted. Nevertheless, it will take a little moment until they greet each other, until they get reacquainted where this one is up to, what this one is thinking, what are they about, what is this meeting going to represent. And they're friendly people and they're acquainted. It doesn't take very long, but eventually there is a conversation developed between them. But that conversation does not develop automatically. After that, they've greeted and they said, "No, how things? What's going on?" And one or the other opens up the conversation, and the conversation keeps on. But then, if there is very close friends that are very much acquainted with each other and in constant contact, before they even sit down, they talk already. You don't have to wait to see, are you interested in what I have to say? Everybody's interested automatically. This is the most of his misgalim. Migalim in touch, okay, do you have anything to say? Okay, yes. Misgalim means, I'm not asking you if you're interested. I'm talking. This is the koiches of misgalim in the keli, because it's a keli. There's absolutely no question that the keli is a receptacle, is a willing recipient of the keich, or the koich. Ve'alkein, and therefore, hey moishlim b'shoyltim aleihem. I repeated these words because I want to emphasize. Hey moishlim b'shoyltim aleihem, they rule over them, but not a rulership by fiat. Amana and higom, simply providing guidance to them. What should we do? V'lochein, actually the Rebbe himself explains this, and therefore, for this reason, this rulership, the hakoiches, al ho'ivorim, of the koiches over the ivorim, is not in a forced manner, that the koiches force the ivorim to follow their direction, rather, it is that the koiches affect into the ivorim, as a result of their being imbued and revealed within the Aver. Let's see if we can fully understand these words. They affect in the Evorim. They affect in the Evorim. The Evorim do not have to be obeying the Koyach. They even allows the Koyach to lead it the way the Koyach wants. And there's no sense in the Koyach, there's no sensitivity, there's no awareness in the Koyach that it's directing the Ever. It's doing according to its will. And the Ever automatically responds to it. So in fact, it is entirely correct to say it's the koyach that's acting, not the Eber. The koyach is acting through the Eber. Because the koyach is in full regalia, so to speak, in full revelation, and therefore the koyach acts, and the Eber follows suit in a certain sense. Allows the koyach to act. This is the pshat that it's in full revelation. The Yuvon Zeis, this can be further understood. In the phenomenon of the koichos interrelating with each other. Kmoi, as an example, koyach ha-seichel shemislabes b'koyach ha-tnuah. When the koyach ha-seichel is imbues itself in the koyach ha-tnuah, in the koyach of movement of the hand, umanhigoi, and it leads the koyach ha-tnuah b'mleches ha-tziyur, in the function of tziyur, of drawing, v'kai gavna, and such other function that is exclusively a koyach, a seichel element. It's not even part of the koyach ha-tnuah. It's a seichel. Who appreciates a tziyur? The seichel, the koyach ha-tnuah doesn't appreciate the tziyur. So there it is clear. It is not in a forced manner that the koyach ha-seichel directs the koyach ha-tnuah to tell them, don't do it this way, do it this way. Kiyim, rather, masher poil boy, that the seich affects in the koyach ha-tnuah and through the koyach ha-tnuah, liyos, that it should be kefi chiyuv ha-seichel, that the movement of the hand should be according to the directive of the seichel. And even though the koyach ha-tnuah does not appreciate what the seichel is directing it to do, and yet it is a full participant in it. It joins the seichel in accomplishing what the seichel wants to accomplish. When he slapshus, it's in full revelation. We said the other day when we first learned this earlier, that there's an expression, somebody who is a master, who is very good with his hands, we say, he has good hands. Really has good hands. It's not the hands, it's the chush that he has on this type of work. The hands only follow the chush, and yet we refer to it as he has golden hands. We follow a common expression. It means that his seichel is so well related to the hands, and the hands are able to accomplish perfectly what the seichel wants. Because the seichel fully has a sense of what this is about. It's in the seichel, but it relates with the hands to such an extent that we refer to it as the hands. There's an expression in the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Chamra l'mora tibusa l'shakya," which means that the wine belongs to the owner. But who do you give thanks to? To the waiter. The waiter didn't give you his wine, but tibusa l'shakya. Because the shakya is doing exactly what the mora wants, and therefore giving tibusa l'shakya is the same as giving tibusa l'mora. Yeah. So there, when the koyach haseichel is mislabish and koyach hatnuah, it is not that it forces the koyach hatnuah, but rather that the koyach hatnuah completely allows itself to be directed by the seichel. And it responds completely to the automatically to the directive of the seichel. The Ayin zeh, you will have a contrast here. The Ayin zeh, and this is quite different. It is not k'moi piulas horotzin, comparable to the piulas horotzin of the effect of rotzin. Shepoye b'chol hakoyches v'ho'ivorim, the rotzin acts and affects all the koyches and the ivorim. Rotzin is in control of the entire person. All the koyches and all the ivorim. It is, okay, we'll come to understand. Shezehu b'derech hechrech. The rotzin, the effect of the rotzin in the koyches and the ivorim is b'derech hechrech, is in fact in a forced manner. Lihiyoisoi koyach nale be'etzem, being the koyach harotzin, being a koyach nale, a supreme koyach, be'etzem in essence, and we will discuss this expression in a moment. Lochein, and therefore, v'izgalus koyach harotzin, when the koyach harotzin reveals itself, harei machriach izgalus hakoychos, that itself forces the koyches to come forth. V'chein b'ho ivorim, and similarly the ivorim, shenishmoyim lirtzoinoi, who that respond to his will. The principle that the ivorim respond to his will, who shemizbatlim mimeila lifnei horotz, that they're automatically nullified lifnei horotz, before the rotz. From the effect of the Rotz, from the command of the Rotz. We'll take a very simple illustration. This is a very, very fine, very deep opinion. We're going to take a very simple illustration. We said that the koyach hatnuah in, let's say, the koyach hatnuah in the foot, koyach hahiluch. The koyach hahiluch is mislabish in the koyach hatnuah of the foot, and the foot is, and therefore it is entirely comfortable with the principle of walking. Now, and it relates to it. It's a natural phenomenon for the foot. Then comes the rotzin, and the rotzin says, walk over there. This thing of walk over there, the koyach hatnuah does not understand this. The koyach hahiluch in the foot does not know what that is about. It cannot relate to it. It can't absorb it. What's the difference when you're walking? I'm walking. From the koyach hatnuah, I'm walking. Therefore, when the rotzin directs the koyach hahiluch to walk in a certain direction, this is because it's obedient to the rotzin. The rotzin superimposes itself on the koyach hahiluch. Because it's a koyach nale, it's a superior koyach. In that vein, in superior koyach, it actually abdicates its will to the will of the Rotz, to the direction of the Rotz. Oh yeah, I must be going there. Not because it can appreciate it internally, but because it's observing to it. He has to obey it. Yes.
Just that you say that the koyach hahiluk doesn't relate to going over there. I thought we had described the koyach hahiluk being a human koyach, and it specifically has to be involved with getting somewhere, something meaningful. In other words, it's not just a mechanical walking, but it's the fact that it's a koyach. It has to be involved in accomplishing something.
Right. So good. So here is where it comes in full expression. The rotzon brings the koyach out. Without rotzon, the koyach will just be sleeping. It's capable of moving. Nothing entices it to go ahead and move and act. We said this true even in Seichel. To understand something, they have to have the will to understand. The koyach rotzon, as he said over here, it forces his galus hakoyches. It brings the koyach to an active state. Being that it is the rotzon that brings the koyach to an active state, therefore the koyach has to be, the koyach will, the rotzon will direct, will be in full expression only when you're going to be doing something significant for the rotzon. From the rotzon perspective. This is where this inyan comes in. It enhances the koyach, not the koyach itself, but because the koyach is aroused by the rotzon, it will be only aroused. The rotzon will only relate to the activity if it can relate to the ultimate accomplishment. All the koyches are rotzon dependent.
So rotzon is what infuses the meaning into all the koyches?
That's right. Rotzon is what arouses everything. God forbid a person doesn't have will. We know this, we discuss it all the time. He can be perfectly healthy in every respect, at every level. This is we always come back to this, the folly in the world. They focus on the active, on the action. Give yourself a little pleasure, but give yourself a little meaning in life. That's what it is.
Rabbi, does the rotzon cause the koyach hahiluk to mevatel itself to the koyach haseichel, so that the koyach haseichel could dress up in the koyach hahiluk?
Ultimately, that is true. Except that, like we say in the koyach hatziyur, for example, there is a very close relationship between the seichel and the koyach hatnuah. We can see this. Just want to obviously, we can see this. Most of you, a musician, for example, in tziyur, it is not that obvious because every move is a separate decision. But when they play music, it seems to flow automatically, and the fingers automatically respond to where they're supposed to be. That is due to the rotzon that's in slavish in this koyach, and they automatically respond to that intent. Again, because from the finger perspective, just to produce a certain sound, that's the end. To produce a whole symphony, that or a whole movement or a whole is not part of the movement of the finger. So there it is again. It is due to the rotzon that has an overall perspective. What do you mean?
So the rotzon has no shaykhs to these particular koiches. The rotzon is misgale in an inyan, and all the koiches are are going in concert, are subsumed in the pursuit of this union?
Well, this question really deserves time. Here is the answer. The Rotzen has a faculty, the koiches. The Rotzen wants the koiches to be misgaber because ultimately what the koiches accomplish is fulfilling the will of the Rotzen.
But it's b'meila. The Rotzen is interested in an union. And the koiches are subsumed in this.
Okay, so here's the point. Yeah, the Rotzen is interested in union, but the Rotzen wants this union to be expressed at the level of the koiches. Not it should be someplace. That's what Sabsa Nefesh Beguf. That's also the Rotzen. There's much insight into this. All seems to be meshing together, and yet they're two separate, all different levels, different phenomena. It is possible a person the koyach to hand to be totally tired. I have no koyach for it, and the Rotzen should pick him up like he's as fresh as a child, because he has a new influence of life. Okay, we have to interrupt now. Have a great day. This is it.
What do you think?
Yeah.